Hey everybody, this is episode 11 of the Cash Flow Joe podcast presented by Pip's Path. I'm Pip Stellick, joined by my business partner, Steve Hipple. Steve, how you doing today, my friend?
Hey, Pip.
Awesome. Bradley Strack, what's up, Bradley?
Living a dream.
Living the dream. And Sam Musa, how are you down there, Sam?
Every time.
Every time. No idea what that means. At the Cash Flow Joe podcast, what we're here to do is we're here to help beginning investors with their first real estate transaction, and also seasoned investors, showing them how to make more money, how to do more deals with less of their money so that they're leveraging at a higher level and also keeping themselves safe in every real estate transaction. Our company trains and mentors thousands of students all over the world, that's right, Bradley, to become successful real estate investors. So for more information, visit our website at pipspath.com, where we have tons of free resources that you can get started now with, including your personal scorecard, which allows you to get started and set up a one-on-one consultation with us to show you how you can get started and what you need to do to take the next steps. Today, we're going to be discussing the strategy in real estate investing called wholesaling, or some places may call it wholesale assignments. This is a very creative strategy, and I have to admit, years ago when I got into this business, I had no idea that it even existed, let alone that you could make money. And the coolest part for me with wholesaling is that you didn't have to have any money and or credit to do it. And so that is a huge win when you get into the business of real estate and you're thinking, I have no money, I can't do this. But you're going to hear me say this whenever you hear me train on wholesale is when in doubt, wholesale it out. So what I like to do is I like to use wholesale as an exit strategy. I may be going into a deal thinking I'm going to rehab the property or I'm going to put it as a short-term rental or whatever. And for whatever reason, the deal just doesn't work for me. The numbers don't work for me. And so I might change it into a wholesale deal. So that is a very important thing that we need to do. And the thing with wholesaling, before I'm going to let Steve come start talking about marketing, is I want you to get out of the mindset that a wholesale deal has to be ugly, beat up property. There's a concept out there that everybody thinks this property has to be dilapidated. There's a word I just don't use every day.
Or used correctly.
That's not the right word? Dilapidated? It's not.
I think it's dilapidated.
We're going to have to look that up. Is it dilapidated or tated?
I don't think there's a date in there.
Definitely tated.
Dilapidated? Mm-hmm.
Really? I think it's dated.
So the Americans are on one side of this, and so
check. I can't go on my phone.
I think Pip fell and hit his head earlier today.
Well, I probably did. I'm going to let Bradley look this up.
Maybe
dilapidated house versus dilapidated house.
Yeah.
Dilapidated is incorrect in my opinion, but my Canadian business partners think it's dilapidated. I believe this is a lunch bet right now. Whoever loses this bet buys the other two lunch, because the Americans, we think it's dilapidated.
Looks like we're having cheeseburgers for lunch.
That's
buddy.
what I'm talking about.
Dated.
I can't believe. Yeah, I
it
love
is
it when,
dilapidated.
when people call me on things and they're wrong, thinking I'm wrong.
Just
that
sounds
just
wrong.
makes my day.
Just sounds wrong.
So all I'm getting at is properties that are ugly. A lot of times people think that if it's an ugly property, that's an opportunity for wholesale. Definitely can be. But I've seen properties that were brand new, that were just built, that were wholesaled. And so it doesn't have to be only one type of property. So Steve, what are some things we can do when it comes to finding these types of properties that may be a wholesale opportunity?
First, just let people know you're in the business. Get talking to people. Get business cards made up. Talk to anyone and everybody. Let them know you're looking for properties. Let them know you're looking for properties. They need work or they don't need work. It's moving condition. It's a good house. It's an ugly house. Let everybody know you're not a realtor, but can you work with realtors? Yeah, you can work with realtors, but go talk to mortgage brokers. Go talk to mortgage brokers. Tell them you're looking for properties. A seller's got to move fast. They've got to get rid of this property quickly. You're looking for properties that people aren't qualifying for mortgages anymore. They got to leave that home. So as a wholesaler, there's all kinds of ways you can find properties in a non-traditional way, let's say, right? A non-traditional way, because if you just go out and start looking on internet, realtor.com or the Zillow, you can look there, but you really don't have a competitive advantage. If you call up a realtor, I'm looking for a property, what's your competitive advantage? So we want to start going to places where you have a competitive advantage, less competition, less other buyers there too. So you can actually do lots of marketing, in different places. So like auctions, can you go to auctions and find properties? Yeah, you can, but again, do you have a competitive advantage over that too? So what I did years ago, and Pip talked about this in a previous podcast, was putting signs on the side of your car saying, "We buy houses." We put signs like those magnetic ones, going to cost you maybe $100 for 2 signs put in the side of your car. And you guys have probably seen these. You've probably seen signs, bandit signs, or signs on cars, or even billboards nowadays with "We buy houses." These are wholesalers, people looking to buy properties. Now, I'll admit, I think Bradley said this in a previous podcast. When Pip said put signs inside of your car, "We buy houses," Bradley said the same thing that I said years ago. Pip told me, "So that sounds weird. I don't want to do that. What do people think?" I was uncomfortable with the idea. Well, I'll tell you, if you're uncomfortable with the idea, you got to do it, because if you don't change, nothing around you going to change. So in time, I put signs inside of my said car, or signs on the side of my car. It said, "We buy houses," and my phone number. Because when I was driving around neighborhoods, whether I was knocking on doors or putting letters in the mailbox or just go look at a property for sale, talking to a realtor, whatever it was, I put these signs inside of my car. You know what happened? It was Bradley. What do you think happened? I was blown away. What do you think happened?
Well, it's the same thing as me. Your phone starts ringing.
Yeah, just like this guy said. This crazy old guy beside me, he says, put signs inside of your car. He said it was $75. It's probably $100. People called me. And they said, "Hey, what's this We Buy Houses all about? How does that work? I've got a property I'm thinking about selling. Are you a realtor?" I said, "I'm not a realtor. I'm an investor." And so I had a lead. I had multiple leads before they called a realtor. Before they talked to somebody else, I got leads before anybody else did. And that little wee trick, signs inside your car says, is it weird? Definitely, but it makes your phone ring. Do you have to put them on when you go to church on Sunday? No, you can take them off. If you're going out Friday night, you don't have to, but I'll tell you, the more you put these signs in your car or advertise, "We buy houses," billboards, bandit signs, whatever you're going to do, ads on Craigslist, whatever you got to do, your phone will ring.
I want to make a comment about bandit signs, because I had a student of mine, a married couple, so students with an S, and we were talking about bandit signs. If you don't know what bandit signs are, if you're driving around, sometimes people will stick those bandit signs in the ground. Sometimes people put them on telephone poles and things like that. And I was telling a couple of students, I said, do you have any bandit signs out? And they're like, "No." I said, "Well, you need to put bandit signs out." And the husband's like, "Well, I don't understand how that's going to work." And I said, "Well, let's we're driving around here. We're driving around some neighborhoods." I said, "Do you have an area in the city?" And we were in Phoenix. I said, "Do you have an area in this city that where you drive by constantly and there's just tons of signs up?" He goes, "Yeah, there's like 2 miles away." I said, "Let's go there." And I said, "You should be putting bandit signs up here that say, 'We buy houses, stop your foreclosure,' whatever, on this corner." And he's like, "Well, everybody else is putting signs there." I said, "Why do you think everybody else is putting signs there?"
You don't have to recreate the wheel.
I mean, it's kind of like, when you want to go to a restaurant, do you find the one that has nobody at it, that's never been there, because the one that's busy, you don't want to wait in line? Now, maybe you don't want to wait in line, but why is the restaurant line long? This isn't rocket science.
I think Sam knows.
Sam, why is the restaurant line long?
Because other people lost bets to Pip.
Is that
Had
what they
lunch
did?
there too.
I hate standing in line. So,
But if the restaurant line is long, what do you know? You know the food's probably pretty good, and
or you
there's a
think
reason.
maybe the food is good.
Well, this is the same way with that corner. Is even though other people are advertising there, that must mean that corner gets a lot of traffic. And so bandit signs are one of the easiest, most inexpensive way. I had a fellow mentor of mine, and he said when he first started in property, his mentors told him this. He said, you cannot go out for the weekend until you've put up 20 bandit signs before Friday night. Now, obviously, if he would have done them on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's fine. But his goal was to put up 20 bandit signs every week. And he goes, "My business just started exploding." And he said it wasn't expensive to get those bandit signs, but it was the consistency of constantly letting people know, "Hey, I'm here to buy houses." They'll call you on it. But and we're going to have talks about what do you say when somebody calls you. I think we're going to do that a little bit later on, aren't we, Bradley? Okay. When somebody calls you, what do you say? We'll talk about that. But if you don't have any advertising out there, I know you're going to get nobody calling you. You got to let people know what you do. Sorry, Steve, I know you were talking about other kinds of marketing.
Lots of good stuff. Well, that was a big one, big breakthrough for me, or an aha moment, I guess. These "We buy houses" little wee signs that make your phone ring and can lead to leads and you closing on deals. Business cards, such a simple little thing, but people overlook it. and get a business card. Doesn't have to be fancy. Your name, your contact information, your email address, obviously, and what you do. We buy houses, or stop your foreclosure, or if you're lease optioning, you say, we get people, or we make people homeowners when the bank says no. You can put anything in your business card you want to. We get a lot of students email us, hey, what do you think of this business card? As long as you got those basics on there, just make it legible. I don't really care what font you use. You can use whatever font you like. Use whatever color. If you're asking me what color, what do you think my business card color? Ask me a real estate question. But with your business card, make it legible. Put your contact information on there and hand them out. Let people know you're a real estate investor. Just use the business cards, hand them out. So there's lots and lots of marketing you can do for your wholesale business.
Yeah, I mean, and I think one of them is just a bird dog card. Sam, talk about bird dog cards and how those work. I didn't mean to wake you up, but talk about bird dog. I thought like I heard him snore.
He's very excited.
He's excited to talk about bird dogs because most people don't even know what bird dogs are or what bird dogs do.
Well, real bird dogs find birds for hunters.
There you
They
go.
scatter the birds out so the hunter can shoot at them, and or when the hunter hits one, they go find the bird. In this case, we're not shooting anybody, which is just great. That wasn't a joke. But anyways, bird dogs are people who find us opportunities. So this could be anybody in their everyday business, people that are not in real estate directly. So anybody in their everyday life come across, maybe even at their job, come across real estate. And you tell them what you're looking for. Example would be a mail carrier goes by homes, and you speak to your mail carrier. You tell them that you have a bird dog program. You're willing to pay $1,000 for any lead that turns into an actual deal. If they ever come across a property where they're putting in the mail, maybe nobody's picking it up, or properties that are distressed, all they have to do is take a picture of the property.
Or dilapidated.
Dilapidated. You're right. I should use that. I was wrong. So dilapidated properties. Just take a picture of it. Text it to me. If something happens with that deal, I'm more than happy to give you $1,000 for that lead, for that opportunity, if it turns into a deal, which is great because you're not paying them out of pocket. You're paying them out of profit. Only when you do make money, you share the wealth, which is going to expand your business. And often you're going to get them asking for multiple cards to maybe share with other people that they work with, because it's such a simple thing, right? Just to look at property. And I want to make a quick point about property and what kind of property we're looking for, because most people believe that in real estate, the best opportunities or the opportunities that are seen more easily are distressed properties. And every property you should consider as a distressed property, even if somebody lives in it, are taking care of it. Still, the property is distressed because everything on that property is getting old. Only brand new homes are not distressed properties. So you never know where the opportunity is going to come from. I think, Pip, are we going to have the evaluation on can they get to the evaluation how to evaluate properties?
We can do all kinds of things, Sam. But this is an
Sorry,
odd
didn't
place
mean
to ask the question.
The reason I bring that up is really it's a numbers game, right? And you can do all this from home. You're not going
definitely,
anywhere.
yeah.
And being able to evaluate properties.
So you mean like a spreadsheet where they can go through?
Exactly,
Of course,
exactly. Yeah, so that's
definitely.
great. So you can take that sheet, you can evaluate properties all from home. You can get these leads. What's awesome about the leads too is even if somebody's not looking to sell a property, because we buy houses, or we buy ugly houses, if you want to use that one. Even if they're not, even if you don't have a property for them to sell, you can have a property for them to buy. So anybody that calls you or gives you a lead. Did that make any sense? What I just said? Did that?
Generally, what you say doesn't make any sense, but somebody may enjoy it. I'm not sure.
So when people call you. Yeah, in this case, I guess when they call you for distressed properties, even if you don't have something you could do with them, they could be somebody who's a buyer instead of a seller. So everybody that calls us an opportunity is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it very well.
Well, and that's every property's an opportunity. Everybody you talk to, there's an opportunity, and it's interesting. And I'm sure some of you guys have driven around. Steve's talking about billboards that say "We buy houses." There's a company, and they're been around a long time. Well-respected company called Homevestors, and they are the ones that have the signs up, the billboards up in every city that say "We buy ugly houses." And I think that's their tagline on everything. And the colors are always, I believe the sign is yellow in back with red and black writing on it, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you drive down in any major city, you're going to see that billboard. And anybody can go out and buy a franchise. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I got an email this week from a guy we all know down in Florida that has a Homevestors franchise that is trying to sell it. And he's trying to sell his Homevestors franchise. And there's nothing wrong with that. Homevestors is still selling franchises. You know, the downside, and I'm not going to say, I'm not here to knock anybody. Homevestors is a company that teaches you how to wholesale properties. And you buy a franchise, just like if you wanted to sell hamburgers, you could go buy a McDonald's franchise or a Burger King franchise or a whatever, fill in the blank franchise.
How's it a franchise? What do they give you?
Marketing.
I'm not familiar
Well,
with
they give you all the marketing and they train
give you the
you.
buyer and seller's database.
They have some buyers list, but they also train you on how to do the process. So they teach you how to wholesale. And there's nothing wrong with that. The one downside I see for that as a real estate investor, and I make a joke about this, and I've probably said this on other podcasts, and you'll probably hear me say it 1,000 times, is that when somebody calls you and you have a We Buy Houses sign up, that's a very broad statement. And you could get a million different things that people have going on in their life. Like you just said, every property there could be an opportunity. So somebody calls you up and they say, hey, are you the one with the We Buy Houses sign? Now Bradley's going to go through a script here in just a minute. I assume you're going to go through a script, right, Bradley?
Yes.
Awesome. And so when he goes through the script, you're going to see how that works. But when somebody calls you up and says, are you the one with the We Buy Houses sign? And you say, yeah. And they say, well, my property's going to foreclosure. Can you help me? And you're like, well, all I know how to do is wholesale the property. And you hang up. What did you just do? You left money on the table. And so we don't want to leave money on the table. In fact, do me a favor, guys. Turn to the person beside you and say, don't leave money on the table.
Don't leave money on the table.
Gee,
Exactly.
that sounded...
That was really good.
Harmonious.
Yeah,
We're
I
going to
don't
do
know.
that in harmony next time. Somebody's going to go a little higher pitch and lower pitch. It's okay. We'll get her done. And so what really needs to be understood about this is that we don't want you to only have one tool in your toolbox. Wholesale is one option that you have, but you need to have other tools in your toolbox. And that's why at The Path, we're constantly making sure you have a well-rounded amount of education and, more importantly, support. So if somebody asks you that question, well, I'm going into foreclosure, and you don't have to say, well, I don't know how to do anything about foreclosure. You'll know exactly what to do, or you'll know exactly how to contact us to be able to help you with that process.
Because my business partner takes care of that part of the business.
We exactly say that. Yep, we say that. My business partner takes care of that. Let me get my business partner and get back with you.
I just think it'd be great to talk about why someone would use a wholesaler, right?
Well, we can definitely do that.
Yeah. So when someone's selling a home or needs to sell a home, they've ran out of time or ran out of money, or for whatever reason they're ready to sell a property. Most people would use a realtor, and the realtor would come to the home and they would review the home, look at the home, and often the realtor, and it's a tough conversation for the realtor, unfortunately, the realtor has to say, I need you to spend more money so I can sell your house. Because most realtors deal in the retail level, and they want to sell a retail property. They don't want any issues with the property. It's difficult to sell a house that's distressed or has problems with it, the roof, windows, whatever it is, exterior. So they're often asking the seller, I need you to put more money in the house so we can sell it for retail, at the retail level, retail price, because they want the house ready to be moved in. This is often why realtors stage homes, right? They want the home in its best look. People can come in and they can move in directly right away. They envision that right away. They don't want to explain the broken window or the stain on the carpet, or they don't want to do any of that. So because
I'm sure you had to explain some stains on carpets over this time. Yeah.
We're not even going to go there. But anyways, so realtors offering this solution to sell a home, asking the seller to put more money in the property makes it difficult. So often we get opportunities with wholesale properties that people are unwilling or do not have the money to put into the property to be able to sell it. So the wholesale opportunity becomes somebody who says, we buy houses as is. We don't want you to spend any more money on the property to be able to sell it. We'll take the property as is. And it's important for us to make this to make this clear and transparent. We let people know how we make money. We let them know we're going to make money on the property. We let them know that we're looking for a discount. You should never hide how you make money in this business. Always be transparent. Let people know. And if it's something that they don't want to do, if they're uncomfortable with you making money, then just move on to the next property.
And take that one step further with if the property is listed on the MLS with a realtor. That realtor may be listing it and not even be excited because it isn't fixed up.
Right.
And so Steve was talking about you could go on the MLS and make offers on properties because you don't know. And the other thing you don't know timing. If Sam is selling a property and today he lists the property at, you've named the dollar amount, $300,000. It's the dollar amount is irrelevant. And when he puts that on the market, that's what him and his wife wanted for the house. That's what they thought it was worth. Well, now 30 days goes by, maybe nobody's bought the property, maybe not a lot of action on the property, and maybe 45 days goes by, and then something happens in Sam and his wife's life. Maybe his wife gets downsized. Maybe they have some issue in their family with some illness. Well, they may not communicate that to that realtor. And so the realtor thinks they need $300,000 out of the property. I come along and I make a $220,000 offer, and the realtor says to me, well, I don't think they'll take it. But what does the realtor have to do legally? Present the offer to the seller. They present the offer to the seller, and the seller says, I can't take $220, but I take $250. Now, what do I have? I have a discount on the property. Well, what changed in that 45 days that the realtor wasn't communicating with the buyer or with the seller on? Could be multiple different things. When I wake up in the morning, I don't have a problem as a wholesaler. But who's somebody who has a house for sale, when they wake up in the morning every day, they've got a problem if they haven't sold their house. And that problem may be becoming a worse problem if something else happens in that time frame where they haven't sold it that, they wanted 300. They thought they could get 300, but now they're willing to take 250.
And there's the carrying cost, right? Every month that goes by, they're paying the taxes, the mortgage, if there is maintenance that has to be done, there is a cost to ownership, and every month that goes by, they're getting deeper into a hole, and they don't get to tack that on to the purchase price, right? The selling price. So absolutely, time is against you when you're trying to sell a property. You want to sell it quickly, obviously get the best price, but if something on top of the carrying cost, a tragedy happens or some circumstances changes, definitely people are more willing to sell you at a discount because it is costing them money.
I've had lots of students that are making offers on properties, and they send me the offers that they make. We always make sure that all of our students send the offers to us before they send them to a seller or a realtor so we can make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. I know that's just the support that we like to have here at The Path. But I've had students send me these offers, and guess what they hear? They hear no. Steve, have you ever heard no when you made an offer on a property?
A lot.
Yeah.
It's my favorite response.
I hear no a lot. Well, what's interesting about that is, okay, they heard no, and that's fine. They move on. And what do I tell my students? I check back in on that property every 60 days. Maybe it's still on the MLS. Maybe the price has changed. So what has happened in the last few months is interest rates have gone up, days on market have gone up, which means now I've got students email me and go, hey, Pip, remember that offer I made 6 months ago? Well, the answer, of course, is no, I don't remember that offer. But I do know that so they say, yeah, do you remember that offer? They weren't willing to take it 6 months ago, but now they're interested in entertaining that offer. And so that right there makes me realize that timing that Sam talks about, that changes. Markets change. We don't have a lot of control over. Tragedies happen in life. And we know that we have those opportunities as buyers to always be in front of people, letting them know that we want to buy houses.
And you can do wholesale at any time during the market cycle. And right now we're seeing an uptick in the opportunity at wholesale. So you want to make sure that the numbers make sense. People are putting their properties out and they are putting them above the market.
Of course.
What the market can take. The market is shifting. So we're seeing a definite increase in opportunity in wholesale right now.
If you're not making offers, you're not making money. So, Bradley, we've been talking a lot about what wholesale is. What if somebody calls us on one of those ads? I know some of you guys are freaking out right now going, Pip, Steve, Bradley, I know we need to have that advertising out there. But what if somebody calls? What do we do? Well, I would tell you what we do is we answer the phone.
That would be the first step, I would say. Is,
what do you say after that?
You want to answer the phone first things first, which if you're anything like me, that was a tough thing within itself because I don't like talking on the phone, especially to random people. I was a new investor. I'm nervous. What am I supposed to say? What are they going to ask me that I don't have the answer to? So I'm going to give you a script that I used, which if you steal it from me, you're stealing, quite more than twice, because I know Pip has not only given this script out to thousands of other students of his, but also was a script that was given to him when he got started in this business, which, again, if something isn't broken, why fix it? So this is part of the system, is having scripts in place where when somebody calls, you're going to answer the phone. I would start off with saying, "Hi, this is Bradley. Can I help you?"
Can I be the guy?
You certainly
I'll be the
can.
guy.
Sam, you're definitely the guy. You're the guy.
So let's say Sam is a distressed seller because he's trying to sell his property for more than it's worth. It needs a bunch of work, and he can't get what he needs out of it. So he sees my truck driving around town with the "We Buy Houses" sign on the side of it. He picks up his phone and he calls me.
Bring.
"Hi, this is Bradley. Can I help you?"
Yeah, you the guy that has the sign on the car?
Yeah, so I'm a real estate investor. I help people with real estate problems. Do you have a problem, sir?
Well, I'm not really sure.
You're not really sure? Well, my name was Bradley. What was your name again?
My name is Sam.
Sam. Now, what you want to do is, now let's take a break from the script here. First things first is, when I ask him the question, "What was your name again?" I'm confusing him. He's thinking to himself, did I even give my name yet? Did I tell him what my name was? But why do we want to get his name? Because we immediately want to use his name. So we want to use Sam's name in our script because I believe that, don't they say that your name is like music to your ears?
It is.
It is the quickest way to build rapport with somebody.
Sam.
Yeah. And
See, look, he's looking at me now.
You might want to get your hand off his leg. I'm just saying that seemed a little odd there, but there we go.
Well, if you really want to get good deals.
Okay, just checking.
So anyway, so I get his name. I say, "My name is Bradley. What was your name again?" He says, "My name is Sam." I say, "Sam." We want to use his name immediately. "Sam, would it be okay if I ask you a couple of questions?"
Yes.
Yes. Now, if Sam says no right now because he's having a bad day and he's mad that his wife has to get this house sold and it hasn't sold and he's getting it from both ends. So he might say, "No, I don't want to talk about it right now. I don't want to talk about it right now."
But I called you, so it's unlikely.
But even if he does,
but if I said no,
if he says no, I can hang up. And how much time have I wasted looking at this guy's house, right? So it's okay. I mean, we want to ask though, is it okay if I ask you some questions? He says yes. Why? Because he wants to sell a house.
That's right. I called you.
So I say, "Sam, can you tell me about the property?" Sam, can you tell me about the property?
Sure. It's a single family home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's got a garage.
And many times now, Sam did this very. I'm grateful for how he did it. Just gave me some very basic information. But have you ever been on the phone with somebody and they just give you way too much information, just way more information than you ever wanted?
Oh man, when you talk to people on the phone, sometimes it sounds like a bad country song. I lost this, I lost that, I lost my dog, now I've lost my house. And it's really sad, but they love to tell you. And I've said this in the past. The good Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. If you use it in that ratio, it's amazing what people will give up on that conversation. And I know many of you that are listening have had those conversations with people. You're like, wow, I can't believe they just told me all that.
Well, and it's you don't even want to know about the conversations I had at that pharmacy counter all the time with people sharing their medical disparities.
They're sharing some real dilapidated situations, aren't they?
My goodness. What can I put on this to make it go away? That's the show and tell part of pharmacy was not what I signed up for. I can tell you that. But what we understand is we as investors, we need some of those basics that Sam gave us. So we're looking for beds, baths, garage, location. And the reason why we need those basics is we can then go run comps or comparables, meaning to look at what would his property be worth. We're going to need to know an estimated value if we're going to run numbers and see if we have a deal. But with those basic things, beds, baths, garage, location, we can get the comps just from going online and finding that
right
kind of stuff.
Right while you're on the conversation, right while you're having them.
You can literally do it in the moment if you really want to.
Yeah.
But the other side of this is, and we say it all the time, if you help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get everything that you want. And that's why we're going to let Sam tell us anything he wants to tell us about that property, because he's going to give us some of maybe those pain points he has and what we can focus on to get him to say yes to any deal that we're looking at doing. So after he's given me the information, the next question I'm going to ask Sam, is there any work that needs done on the property?
What do you mean?
Are there any repairs that need done on the property?
Well, it's in okay shape. I mean, it hasn't been updated since 1964, but otherwise,
but it was great in '64.
It was great 64. But absolutely, it's you could probably some fresh paint.
And what Sam's doing right now is pretty much what you would expect from somebody on the phone. You would expect somebody to say, well, maybe, and we don't think that people usually would typically lie about this, but what they'll mainly do is they'll underestimate what needs done on the property. So Sam may think that the roof's fine, but the roof may need replaced in the next 5 years. So he may think that the paint's okay, but if you're moving into a new property, you would want to put a fresh coat of paint on. So we don't think he's necessarily going to lie. He may underestimate it. But either way, it's okay. And this next line that we use is something that gets this person over the hump of, I've got this realtor telling me I got to spend money if I want to sell my property. They're telling me I need to spend money if I want my back stairs to pass inspection, or paint the kitchen if I want to get top dollar. So on the next line, we're going to tell them, whatever you do, Sam, please don't fix anything. I buy properties as is.
And this is exactly what I want to hear.
And this is
absolutely
exactly, because in his head now, he has heard that I can solve my problem and I don't have to come out of pocket or spend any money.
And I don't want to spend any money.
And we're gonna have to do a split episode on this, because we are not only halfway through this. I want to add one thing, because you heard Sam say this earlier. If he goes and talks to a realtor, what's the realtor going to tell him he has to do? Fix that property up before he sells it. Yeah. So what Bradley is saying is music to his ears. I don't have to bring any more money to the deal. I don't have to come out of pocket with this. I can sell it as is.
And I don't have to pay for a realtor. Well, I don't know what it's going to cost me, but I know if I'm not using a realtor, I'm cutting out 6%.
Well, and that's something we can tell them in this script, is we can explain to them that they don't have to pay a 6% commission.
Right.
And so there's a lot to do that. So we're getting kind of long on this episode as it is. So here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to come back on the next episode, and we are going to do part 2 of wholesaling, because there's so much detail that we want to get to. We want to make sure, because this is a new real estate investor, this is a strategy that you really should understand, because even if we aren't going to wholesale this property, our goal is maybe to get it under contract, and maybe we like the numbers and we might rehab it and hold it for ourselves. Rehab it and put it into a lease option, Steve, or maybe rehab it and put it into a short-term rental. So there's a lot of things we can do with it here. So this script is going to be something we use on multiple different properties. So,
and a first strategy always. No, really, it should be wholesale. Should be every single property you come across should be first considered as a wholesale opportunity. Absolutely,
definitely. So what we're going to do on the next episode is we're going to continue to discuss wholesaling. We're going to get deeper into the script. Then we're going to talk about, once we get the property, what do we put in our contract to make sure that we are legally able to assign this to a new investor. What we're also going to talk about in the next episode is, how do we find somebody to assign it to? And then what we're going to talk about after that is, how do we get paid? Because I guarantee we all want to get paid. In fact, turn the person beside you and say, I want to get paid.
I want to get paid.
Yeah. This will be the only podcast out there where they say, turn to the person beside you. And so what we want to do is make sure that we get to the more detailed stuff on our next episode with this. And so we're going to talk more about wholesaling. I guess we'll call it wholesaling part 2. So before we get out of here, I just want to say one more time, if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you choose. For more information on us, go to our website, pipspat.com. Follow us on social media at PipsPat, the Property and Cash Flow Joe Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Leave us a comment, give us a follow, and we will see you on the path.